Good morning, this is Jeff with Sewer Tech Northwest. We're at 1437 Southeast Pershing Street here in Portland. We're located down in the basement. I describe everything as if you were standing in the street facing the front of the house. So currently we are at the rear foundation wall, right next to the washing machines here, dropping into a 4-inch cast iron clean out. We're going to check the overall condition and serviceability of the sanitary sewer line. Waters are running, we are zeroed out, and away we go. Just transitioned there a second to go over to clay pipe, and I apologize, my foot counter isn't working. I got some fun technical issues today, but got the image up and running here. We do have an offset with some rocks coming through it. I'm gonna go locate and see where this is at here. We're far enough out right now. We may very well be out into city territory. If I don't have to go ramming my camera into that thing, I don't want to, but that joint there is certainly allowing rocks to come into the sewer pipe from outside the line.
So do you send that to the city or?
All right, so I just did a locate here, and I have my camera lens up against this. Normally I would try and park my camera halfway over the top of it. I tried to adjust for that about 6 inches. But I put a white X marking down in the roadway. We're about 2.5 feet or so off the curb into the street there. And that is one I would forward the video to the city so they can see that. It does look like the rocks are originating from that pipe joint there. They're coming through it. And the joint's also pulled apart, so it's not totally surprising to see that. The concern there, it looks like sewage by and large is getting over the top of it. It's very clean through that area. But that joint's clearly open to the ground. I'm sure it's allowing water to escape the line and or enter into the sewer pipe. And what you don't want to have happen is some severe hydro erosion take place. You know, one, it can affect the sewer line and cause it to progressively settle, but it can also, I mean, worst case scenario, you can end up with a sinkhole potentially if that's pulling enough stuff through it. So that's one I would certainly forward on to the city. They can see it. By and large though, most of this clay pipe is in very nice condition. It's super clean, flows well. All right, just to locate here, just to show you where the clay pipe starts. I pushed past the transition. If you're walking up the front staircase, the line comes out directly underneath the staircase there. About 2/3 of the way up the staircase is about where the line transitions. So the line is in, it's under some awkward stuff. So I say this from this standpoint because this is an older sewer line, obviously. Nothing lasts for forever, but this line is held up very nicely over time here. I would re-scope the line periodically to monitor, especially for the pipe joints. Start seeing any signs that the line starts to shift on you, kind of like what you had out in the street there. At that point, you want to get on top of things. With the advent of trenchless epoxy lining nowadays, this is a line that, you know, at some point down the road, you can update trenchlessly. But you do got to keep an eye on things periodically so you don't let a line age too far to where you lose your ability to do that. It would behoove you, and especially in this case, it's just, you know, you got a staircase and sidewalk and all kinds of fun stuff over the top of it. So we do have a couple wipes in the line there. Most of it we busted free. There are a couple remaining. I'm gonna do one more flush. We're gonna do one more flush just to see if we can get those to break loose here. Otherwise, what remains in the line, I mean, you could almost justify cleaning it. Most likely these are going to break loose and move on their way. But we're going to do another flush here just to see if these things will scoot along. Usually once you can get them busted loose, they'll start to move as long as there's not a million of them. But this is a big no-no. You do not want to be putting wipes, paper towels, anything of that sort down these older lines. Cast iron naturally just has a rougher texture to it. So it's just not a terribly forgiving pipe when it gets abused. You know, versus something like plastic pipe with nice smooth pipe walls. I mean, those are problematic in those scenarios too, but it's especially so when you have these rougher textures. That pipe wall really holds on to things. And once this stuff gets off into the clay pipe, you can see how easily stuff moves to the clay. Clay is it sometimes gets kind of a bad rap for some reason. I've done almost 25,000 sewer scopes and a lot of drain cleaning over the years, and clay pipe is kind of a amazing pipe product. It's essentially glass. So as long as something doesn't shock it or the joints don't wear out, the joints are typically the weak point in clay. That's what you want to watch for. If you start seeing any signs of very obvious exposure to the ground, you got dirt coming through, stuff like that, especially if shifting takes place on top of it, that's where you want to get on top of it and look into the liner option. In a case like this, it will save a lot of money down the road. All right, looks like these things are just about out here to the clay pipe.
They flow through.
Yep, and they're actually, at this point, I'm getting them, once they're into the clay pipe, they're gonzo.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, now that they're in that part, you don't have that same rough texture. It's also a 2-inch wider diameter. So anyway, we're gonna go ahead and reel the camera out of the line. This right here looks like something just got caught up on the side of the pipe wall. It's way out of the flow line. You know, at some point that will likely break loose, but it's small. And it's also out near the clay, which is where we want it to be. All right, so I wish I could put down a foot marker on this one. I just can't. We're out near kind of the foundation wall right now. You have a very minor belly in the sewer line. It's, let's see here. It's about a 3-foot long belly here, and it's barely holding something like somewhere between a 1/16 and a 1/4 inches standing water. That is not the kind of belly I would typically recommend a repair on. It's just too minor to go causing problems on its own. I mean, the times where you could ever get something to hang up there, and you can see how the pipe walls are clean, there's no buildup or anything. I would not expect to see that from a belly that small. But abusive items, wadding up paper towels, things of that nature, that's about the only stuff that would, in general, have any issue getting through there relative to the rest of the sewer line. Under proper usage scenarios, a belly like that, for reference, I don't even consider repair, so there's at least a 5-foot section of pipe with at least 1 inch of water in it. So that kind of gives you an idea. And that one there, I think, is a piece of toilet paper. My camera doesn't run into that. We've cleared nearly everything out of the line at this point, so whatever that stuff is should convey through just under proper normal usage. So we have, as it sits right now, we have good flow all the way out to the street. Again, forward the video to the city so they're aware of that pipe joint out there. All the pipe materials, both the cast iron and clay pipe, are in very fair condition for their age. Intact. Line is functioning at this time. But do re-scope it periodically. I do that about every 1 to 2 years on a line this age, just so you can, at some point down the road, you can take advantage of some more convenient updating options. Well, the clean out cap here is not the right size for the sewer line either.
My God, yeah, you